So many people talk about consistency like it's that simple thing that you just do, like it's just action based. But there is a way deeper level to that I want to share with you in this video that is going to help you to stay more consistent, and not only that, but also have more fun while doing so. But before I get into that, for everybody who does not know me, my name is Martin, and I really made it my purpose here to share with you about my own experiences in life, about my ups and downs, everything in between, with the hope to inspire you to take action in your own life, to live on your own terms and not according to someone else's vision or someone else's kind of telling you what to do. So I want you to be in the driver's seat of your own life and take full charge. And as you might see or feel in my energy today, I've been a little bit sick for the last couple days, and I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. So my voice is a little raspy, so I might have to grab a sip of water in between, but let's see how it goes. Anyways, I always want to be authentic, open, honest, and just share with you that I'm a human being, and or the reason why I do that, like a lot of people wouldn't share that on a YouTube video. They would just cut or not mention it or suppressing it. But I'm like, I want to share it with you because I want to share how human I am. And that when you show up authentically and embrace that humanness of you, that you can still do what you love, that you can still go out there and have an impact. Because the way I'm living my life right now, there's a lot of things that I'm still improving on. But there's a lot of things like the work that I'm doing right now, working with clients and support them on their life journey. I love doing that. And the reason why I love it so much is because I can be fully myself. And not because I can, but because I choose to show up that way. And that is also tied to the topic today, consistency. Before I dive into it, just a little reminder, if you have not subscribed yet, I would truly appreciate it. Every one subscription is supporting me in growing this channel and having a bigger impact on people's lives. So I appreciate everybody who already has subscribed, and if not, there is the button to do so. All right, consistency. Yes, consistency, a part of it is action-based. Means, or what it usually always means is like that you do things over and over and over again. Very often it comes up when people do sports, when they start working out. It's like you have to be consistent. You have to always show up. No matter how you feel, you still have to go for it. Very often consistency is also equated with hustling. Like just push through it. Push through it, like no pain, no gain. But that's like a kind of a negative side of it, and it's barely ever long lasting. I've been there myself. I've done certain things for a very short period of time. I was consistent during those times, but it wasn't feasible. It was not like something that I was able to, and I knew it from the beginning when I started with those things, that it was not something that I could continue for a very long period of time. There are, like right now, there are times where throughout my life, I started as a baby probably, like getting up at like 5 in the morning, 5:30. But especially I started implementing that more and more for the past like 10 years. I think in like 2015, 2014, 2015, I started with like waking up 5:30 in the morning and starting my day. And it was an amazing experience. Like waking up before most other people wake up. When I go for a walk in the morning, it's just quiet. It's like the nature is just waking up. The sun is rising. It's like, it's so incredibly beautiful. However, I knew from the start that my lifestyle does not really allow me to do that on a consistent basis. Because there's a lot of times, like right now, like when, because I was planning on doing that again. Actually, today I set my alarm for, I think it was 5:30, and I was like, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna do my morning routine. But the thing is, I've not been feeling too well physically for the last couple days. So I'm like, why did I even set my alarm for that time? Also, because of the amount of work I have right now and creating this new YouTube channel and being more active on social media, my days are naturally a little bit longer right now. So it makes absolutely no sense to get up at 5:30 or 5 in the morning, because then I wouldn't have much energy to do all the things that I'm doing right now. And especially when it comes to consistency, it's important that before you start something, that you really check in and see, is that actually something that you can implement in that capacity for a longer period of time? Because otherwise frustration comes up, the fear or the feeling of failure, of not succeeding in what you set out to do. Consistency also doesn't mean necessarily that you do something every single day. Waking up, for example, it could be that if, like, I could make the decision, say, like, you know what, on certain days I'm going to wake up at 5:30 and really wake up with nature and just be in that amazing silence. And then on days where I know I'm going to be busy, I'm just going to wake up later. But there's also things that you can do like 2 times, 3 times a week. It's better if you start smaller and then gradually do it more often than trying to be perfect and do it every single day from the start. But that's the more action-oriented part of consistency. But the consistency that I really want to talk about more today is the inner consistency. The inner consistency, barely anyone is ever talking about that. The inner consistency is how you are showing up for yourself and with yourself. It's the way you talk to yourself. It's the way you think about yourself. It's the way you're treating yourself. And yes, there are people who can say like, well, but that's also based on certain actions, and even thinking is like an action, whatever. There's a difference between like working out and going to work or getting up at a specific time and the internal kind of way of being. So I'm really talking about the beingness, the thinking, the emotional, like do you allow yourself to be emotional, to release the emotions? But of course also a self-love or self-healing practice, like meditation, visualization. Those are all things that are incredibly important. And the reason why it's like an inner consistency is because it's all about the self-image. It's who do you want to be? How do you want to be? How do you want to show up in life? And when it comes to self-image, yes, there's also an action-oriented part to it. But it all starts within you. Because action, there's different kinds of action. The one that I mentioned earlier, where you're just hustling and you're just pushing through and you're just doing it for the sake of it. And then there's inspired and aligned action. And inspired and aligned action, it doesn't just happen. Sometimes it does, kind of, but 99.9% of the time, in my experience, it doesn't just happen, but it's like created within. And for that, you really have to have a why, a purpose. to know why you are in it, why you're doing it for. And that is not, again, not about like the physical things. Like, it's not about the money. It's not about other people. It's not about to attract like someone else into your life, like a relationship, a partner. Those are just the results. Those are the outcomes that in the physical reality you're going to experience. But the real reason, the real why, the real purpose is always the emotion that you want to experience. And the amazing thing is that you don't even have to experience the physical thing, because our subconscious works in a way where it does not differentiate between reality and imagination. And when you imagine something, you can create emotions. Now one of my ring lights stopped working. Anyways, it's really about that inner emotion. But give me a second. I'm going to turn on another light here. Ooh, that's bright. All right. I think that's better. Anyways, well, that's the thing about recording and doing it live and not live, but I don't cut stuff. I think I said it before. I cut, I think, 2 or 3 videos. One because I just kept forgetting what I was about to say, and one because I was coughing so much. But speaking of. Anyways, consistency is really about the emotional, the emotions, the thinking, the way you're showing up for yourself, because it all starts within. Because the way you are within, it's gonna affect how you do things. And when you are in alignment with yourself, when your thoughts and emotions are in alignment with who you want to be and how you want to show up in life, it will inspire you to take the actions that are necessary to continue that way. So if you imagine, if you envision, if you visualize the version of yourself that you want to be, things that you do want to experience in life, but focusing more on the emotions, then you will start creating those emotions. Those emotions will then inspire you to take the action that are necessary for you to then experience what you first visualized, but now you can experience it in reality. So there's a much deeper level to consistency, because if you do that only once in a while, not much will change. If you don't do it at all, you're always at the mercy of outside circumstances being in alignment with exactly what you want, people giving you exactly what you want and need. But most of the time you can wait for a very long time for other people to give you what you want, without you first being in alignment with what you want and then taking inspired and aligned action. I've seen it so many times in my own life, in the lives of my clients, in like everybody I meet, basically, the difference between when showing up with aligned and inspired action compared to just action because that's what you're supposed to do, like the hustling and stuff like that. And the great thing is why it's an internal and like the internal consistency is because you basically don't even have to get out of bed. You can do that when you wake up in the morning. You don't even have to open your eyes, and you can just start visualizing. Your body doesn't have to move. It's all up here. That's where it starts. And when you start doing that, your whole life will transform. I've done that in the past few months. If you've seen my previous videos, I talked about it a lot, that I was left by my by my ex in the beginning of the year, and when I first when the breakup first happened, I was not able to visualize at all. I just saw darkness and I was just emotional. So if you are in that kind of situation where something is really hurting you right now, where you're grieving or where you are in like deep sadness, the first thing, of course, is to allow those emotions. Feel it to heal it. It's really important to be aware of what you feel and to express it, to let it out, because otherwise you suppress it and that always backfires. So when I experienced that in the beginning of the year, I really just let myself feel whatever I was feeling. And it was a lot. It was painful. It was really, really, really difficult. However, there came a point where I started with meditations again, and I started like visualizing how I wanted to feel in the morning. There's a night or evening meditation that I did, and I didn't do it every day. So I wasn't like consistent with the action on like a daily basis, but I was consistent with daily practice of self-love and self-healing. But that meditation, it kind of helped me to get back into visualizing the next day. But not even the whole day, but just how do I want to feel when I get up or when I wake up? It's like I want to feel more energetic. I want to feel a little bit more peaceful. I want to look forward to the day ahead. And on some days it felt like I was able to then feel like that in the morning a little bit more. And on other days I didn't. But I showed up for myself. And then it kind of grew from there. Of course, I had some setbacks. There were days where I didn't do certain things. But that's also something with consistency. Consistency is not perfection. And I think a lot of people struggle with that, where they say they're going to do something, or I'm going to use the word do, even though it's like the internal and external consistency now. When you when you have like a goal, or when you say like, I'm going to do something, and then you maybe do it for the first 5 days because there's some energy there, like some momentum, but then something happens and you're like, I'm not sure if I can or want to do it today. And then you don't do it. Then very often we get frustrated. We're like, oh, I'm not consistent. I'm never going to be able to be consistent. But the thing is, consistency does not mean perfection. Perfection means that you do it every single day at the same time. You do it perfectly. Not missing a day, always being like ready to go. Consistency means that you can have a day where you miss something. You can have a day where you are not implementing what you said you're going to implement, but then you show up again the next day or the day after. But that you continue no matter if you have setbacks. There's a huge difference between perfectionism and consistency. Of course, if you have then a consistency of not being consistent, that's another story, because then you're like, oh, I have an excuse here, or I have an appointment here, so I'm not able to do it. So if there's a lot of things that always come up so that you don't stay consistent on long term, then it might be self-manipulation. I read something today that was very powerful, and that is also connected to consistency, to basically everything, but especially like to going after what you want. And it was kind of, I don't know the exact words, I'm just gonna say it in my words kind of. So it was really about that a lot of people don't even start going after their goals because it's the fear of failure. And the fear of failure in this case is like the fear of failure with something that you love, that you're passionate about. giving all you've got, like 100%, and then risking failure in that thing that you love, just the thought of it is so painful that some people, or a lot of people, talk themselves out of it because it's less painful to later on say, well, I failed because I didn't give my everything, I held back, than giving it all and risking kind of like not being enough. So that is also a form of self-manipulation, and that will affect your consistency. If we manipulate ourselves, talk ourselves out of something, then consistency is basically non-existent anymore. It cannot exist because we keep talking ourselves out of it. I've shared it a few times that, like, even me creating these videos, I had so many days so far where I was like, maybe today is not a good day to record a video because I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't feel well. There's a lot of reasons I had not to record. When I was not inspired, when I didn't have like a topic ready to go, I was like, how can I get there? Because I have a vision. I have a clear vision of what I want to create. I have a clear vision of why I'm doing it. I have a purpose with this that I share in every video in the beginning as well, where I want to inspire people to show up in life, to go after what they want. And when I'm not inspired for, or don't have like an idea, I ask myself, how can I get inspired? Today, for example, I was like, I'm just going to go for a walk. Very often that's how the ideas come. I go for a walk and I just think, reflect, and then ideas come. And today I was like, maybe I should not record a video because I had to cancel a couple appointments because of how I feel. So if I record a video, that could give the wrong signal that I feel so good, but why can I not coach? And I'm like, no, there's a whole difference between me recording a video by myself, all alone in my apartment, compared to being in person with people and risking them getting sick too. So for me, that's like, I was trying to talk myself out of it, of recording a video. And then I was like, but I've been so consistent with the recording, with the uploading. I've been so consistent going after what I want, sharing the things that I want to share to inspire people. So I'm like, oh, I can talk about consistency, about the internal feeling of consistency, the self-image connected to consistency, not just the action, because the action is always just a result of the internal process. And here I am recording a video, and I'm very proud of myself and I enjoy it. And the funny thing is, very often I say, okay, today I'm going to record it, but then if I record, I'm just going to do it for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so I don't have to record like, a longer video. And most of those days, the videos are like 25, 28, 30 minutes. Those days where often I feel less inspired, but then I remind myself why I'm in it. And then I create the inspiration within me. Then the inspiration just flows through me, and I can just continue talking about the topic and the ideas. So if you are struggling with consistency, I would really recommend that you start going within and ask yourself, first of all, is what you are not consistent in, what you want to be consistent in, is that actually something that is something you want, or is it something that someone else kind of put on you? Or is it someone else's wish or goal? And if it's not yours, don't do it. Unless, of course, it's necessary. Like if it's part of your job, but it's something that you're not able to delegate, or if it's something that you cannot stop doing, or if you have obligations to care for someone else, like those things, there are exceptions for everything, of course. But if it's something for yourself and you're like, well, it doesn't matter if I do it or don't do it, it's just for me and my own life, then of course, don't do it if it's not in alignment with who you want to be. And then figure out what is in alignment with that version that you want to create. But that also requires you to create a self-image or a vision of a self-image of the person, the version of you that you want to grow into. So start with the self-image. Who do you want to become? What does that version of you think, feel, and act like? What does that version of you experience? The people around that version of you. Who are you surrounding yourself in that future version of yourself? And then start really visualize how you show up in life and how life looks like as that version of you. And then when you visualize those emotions that come up, use them to then take aligned and inspired action. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like, comment, and share this video. And of course, if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. It would really mean the world to me. And as always, lots of love from my heart to yours, and a big hug.